Howdy, welcome to Good Morning Marketers. My name is Andrew Aber. I'm the Account Services Team Manager here at ThunderTech, and with me is Jason Therian, who is our President.
Howdy.
Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Great.
Thanks for joining.
You're welcome.
This morning, we're going to be talking about budgeting for 2014 and some recommendations and goals that we want to have with our clients.
So now that we're in the midst of Q4, it is budgeting season. Every marketer's favorite time of year.
Right. So with budgeting, we want to make sure that our clients are planning, understanding what their goals are for 2014, some recommendations that we have. In your opinion, what are some things that we should really be looking out for in 2014?
Right, so really the general advice that we give to clients year in, year out is make sure you're budgeting for experimental activities and innovation, right? So that's where if your organization or your marketing budget in general isn't all that innovative, you can try out things in the experimental line item to then move out there. It was a Forrester article that got our attention a few weeks back that said 11% of marketers budget for innovation. Okay. Really shocked.
It's not a lot.
Not a lot at all.
Right.
And it's the type of thing, it's the experimental, the try and learn type of scenarios. When they're not seen in a budget line item, you get busy. You forget about them and they get pushed to the end of the line. So.
And I've seen that a lot of what my team is doing is we're recommending at least up to 10%, making sure that our clients are putting that to the side to a slush fund. So they're able to, an example that we've been talking about is social advertising. So not a lot of people are doing it yet, but what does that look like in 2014? So provide some recommendations that way. What are some conversations that you've been having?
Well, there's a lot of areas, and some of it depends on the culture, but we've seen a lot more around digital properties, how to breathe more life into these big investments that companies have made over the years. So instead of just putting them on the shelf and doing basic maintenance, how do you test them with some basic A/B testing so that you try different calls to actions? And 50% of the time you try one way and 50% you try the other. You measure it and you go with what works best. Simple stuff, but again, it gets pushed to the side. But when there's that line item that says we're going to try this and budget for it this year, you're going to get done, right. And then investment's going to improve your properties.
Right. A lot of it is content marketing with video.
Right. So obviously content marketing has been a big area, and that was a experimental area over the last couple of years for clients. Now that they're in it, more starting to move that written word into video. So if you haven't jumped into video or podcasting or something like that, try a couple out. You might be really good at it, and you might have fantastic results. So it proves out the value of it and allows more of the budget either later in the year or into 15 to be applied as a regular line item. Right. If it fails, you failed cheaply, you failed fast, and you move on. Right.
It's making sure don't be afraid, don't hesitate, just see what happens at the end of the day. Exactly. Cool. All right, if you have any questions about budgeting for 2014, feel free to give us a call or look us up at thundertech.com. Thanks.